Well, hello everyone. I don't know if you noticed, but I finally passed the 10,000 mark, and so I'm kind of happy about that. And I was really wondering if I was ever going to make it. It seemed like it just stopped for a little bit, and nothing was going on. But anyways, it did pass over the 10,000 mark. There wasn't any confetti that dropped out of the sky or anything. I didn't hear, any fireworks go off. Everything's just about the same. But yeah, I finally made it 10,000 in a year. My first video I put out was on a pedal board that was under Guitar Notes and Notions. I had like 8 videos out there from like 11 or 14 years before. But there was nothing that I had done, nothing that I had put out there that was real serious until January of this last year. I think it was on the 19th or something like that. I put out the first video. And so it's been just a hair over a year, and I made my goal, 10,000. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat. And I thank you all for backing me up and for supporting me and doing all the things that need to be done to get a channel to grow. So I really appreciate that. But today I thought we'd go back and hit on the pedal board again. See, and I brought it home this last week because I wasn't really happy with the sound I was getting out of one of them that I was using, and I was kind of concerned as to whether or not everything was still working okay. Sometimes you can't tell because you're sort of at the mercy of the sound person that's there. You don't know exactly, what it sounds like because you can't really hear it. And you're working through, your in-ears, and sometimes they don't sound right. And so it's just, there's a little challenge there to get sound, to get that feedback that you need to know that you're playing okay. If I don't know when I'm playing live like that, if I don't feel like it sounds good on the other end, I have a hard time digging in and really enjoying playing because I'm afraid that I'm either off or it sounds terrible, sounds like it's playing out of a trash can. And yet people say, oh no, the sound sounds great. Well, I sure wish I could really hear it. And so that's the challenge. But lately I've been listening through my, in-ears, and it just doesn't sound right to me. So I brought home the pedal board. And I thought I would change out the DI portion of it for an LR Baggs. There's some pros and cons to this, and I'll show that to you in just a minute. But I thought I'd share the switch with you and let you hear the difference between a very expensive Grace DIX technology DI versus a $200 pair of acoustic DI from LR Baggs that works by battery alone. And you can get about 20 hours out of that battery from what I understand. But so I thought I'd show it to you and let you see what you think. Let you give me your opinion on it. But I'm really considering switching out and playing with the other for a while. Not because one's worse than the other. I just, sometimes I think I have a little more control with the Baggs DI than I do with the Grace. And you'll see why in just a moment. All right? So I thought I'd show that to you today. And so I got to turn this off and get it set up so that you can see the pedal board. And then I'll play through I'm going to play my Martin, the SC13E, as you can see. And this is a really neat guitar. And this guitar sounds awesome. And it really plays easy. I mean, it's like nothing to it. And you can play down here. And it's just as clean as can be. So thought I'd play this one and show you these pedals, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn this off and get it set up, and we'll go at it. Okay. Okay, now, so here's what we have. I have this set up. This is not engaged right now. This is my tuner. We've got this thing caught underneath this. Just move that out there. There we go. Get this sitting straight. Okay. So we have, we're going into a poly tuner. And of course, you turn this on, you can tune your instrument. This one, poly tune, works quite well. It also works, if you strum, it'll tell you if there's one that's out. Once I can see that maybe this E needs a little work. It's just a little flat. There we go. It's a little sharp there. Okay. So so we go into Polytune, then we go into this device called the Body Res. I'm going to turn that off right now. This just simply, I think it works more like a compressor, really, with maybe some voicing that's built in, and the more you give it, the more you change whatever the EQ is, the settings. But I do think that there's a lot of compression going on, because I notice when you turn this on, there's like a top end that it kind of cleans up so it doesn't sound tinny. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I like what happens when you turn this on. So then it comes into the LR Baggs reverb, and I'm going to turn that off right now too. And so basically all you're hearing right now coming out of my guitar is this particular unit right here. And what I wanted to compare it to is this one right here. Okay, so just a couple things that I want to make a note of is that this one has the ability to plug it in to an adapter, but this one does not. You can only use battery with this. So that to me is a problem, because if I forget and leave something plugged into the input, I think it'll just drain the battery, number one. So you'd have to change the battery, which isn't difficult to do. There's a little place back here, but that can get kind of expensive. Batteries aren't that cheap. With the battery, if you're careful to unplug the input, and it should last 20 hours worth of play, is what I understand. And so yeah, it's that's the one thing I don't like about it, is you can't plug it in. I wish you could. So, but other than that, I think it works really well, and you're going to hear, hopefully you'll be able to hear the difference. The other difference between these two is, as you can see, this only has a low and a high, where this has the ability to not only adjust the low, the high, the presence, and the treble. Excuse me, the low, the mids, the presence, and the treble. So it has that ability to do that. So there's just a little more ability to tweak your sound with this. It also has a gain, which is right here, that you can make adjustments to. It has an inversion on it as well. And so, and then also, you have some fine tunings for the notch and the mid-range here. So this is a really nice, nice little unit, as you can see. So there's the, you can actually put it into a loop, or just use the input-output on it. And as you can see, it does have a DI out. And hold on one second, my alarm's going off. There we go. And so yeah, so that's the PreAcoustic by LR Baggs, where this is the BIX by Grace Technology. Difference between the two, this is $200, this is $400. And I like this. It works real well. You just don't have a lot of control. And so I guess my question is, do I want to change back over to this and take this one out? So I'll let you hear it. Just the pedal alone. There's nothing else on. I don't have a microphone here that's firing off with the guitar. It's just plugged in and going out to the Bose, and then the recording is just happening on an iPhone. But those iPhones do pretty good, so I hope it picks up the sound for you. So, and you can see as it fires off, you can see the little green light comes on. But I'm going to up the gain on this, and that you hear. I'm going to put it at 12 o'clock. I think that's, well, actually, this is its normal. It's like normal setting here, right here. And I can hear. Top end a little bit, and so I'm just gonna, this is actually set at about 10 o'clock. I'm just gonna back it off a little more. As you can tell, it doesn't have a volume on it, so I can't adjust the volume and the gain. Generally, I like to keep the gain down and up the volume. So I have to do that. I would have to do it with the guitar, I suppose. So there's limitations to the adjustments you can make with this pedal. So let's boost this up here. I'm going to bring up the low and bring down the high. Up the high to 12 o'clock, and I can feel the notch right there, so it's sort of their neutral zone. So we're going to bring this all the way up. You hear that tinny? That's what I mean when I say it sounds like it's playing in a trash can. You don't want that sound. I'm curious if the body res can take that out. Let's see if it does. Nope, it doesn't. Let me turn it all the way up. Nope. Well, that doesn't take care of it. I'm gonna bring that back to where it was. Okay, so now let's bring the low all the way down. That's interesting because the high is still up and that sound went away. So let's just leave the low down and bring the high to neutral. Now let's bring the gain to its neutral spot. The gain down, 10 o'clock. So let's bring that low back in to about 10 o'clock. Neutral. Okay. And I'm going to bring the sound up just a little bit. boost on. Let's up the boost. I still hear that high end that I don't like. I'm going to back that down a little bit. Let's do a little finger style. Turn off the boost. So now let me switch that back over so that we can look at the sound, or listen to the sound here of our Baggs. This is where we last left off with the Grace. Let's turn this one off too. Okay, so now on the Baggs, I have the volume set about 9 o'clock. And everything else looks to be about 12 o'clock right now, except for the treble. I have it at 10 o'clock. And so I'm going to put that up to 12 o'clock so that everything's at sort of a neutral place. And the gain is at about 10 o'clock. This is the little gain knob. Can you see? It's real small, and there's a little white dot there. And see, you can hear this. You can hear that high end. Responsive this thing is. Much better. And let's bring the presence back a little bit. My goodness. Okay, and so let's add back in the body res. So let's do this. Let's bring the mids up just a little bit, and let's see what happens. You can hear that. Let me back it off. 10 o'clock. Hear the difference? Turn it all the way up. Let's turn it all the way down so it's scooped. So let's put it at 12 o'clock. Let's move it to about 2 o'clock. Let's pull it down. Back up the presence to all the way up. All the way down. Let's put it at about 11 o'clock. From this angle, that's what it looks like. And let's play around with the notch a little bit, because you can use this. I'm going to put it at about 12 or 1 o'clock. Let's put it at about 11 o'clock. Let's turn it off. Turn it about 9 o'clock, and up here, you can see, you can bring it up a little bit. There's the mids. So you can see what I'm saying is that you have more control with this than I do with this. And it's not that this isn't good, it is, but I think it needs some kind of extra EQ added to it to make some other adjustments that you can't make with this pedal. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to switch this over, and I'm going to use it for a while. I like the sound. Turn this off. Turn that off. So there you have it, the Baggs PreAcoustic DI. I think it works really, really well, and I really, really like it. So with that, I am going to turn this off. Oh, and before I go, well, let me just turn it around and I'll talk to you. So there you have it, the PreAcoustic DI versus the Grace Technology BIX. And I like the both pedals. I think they're both really good pedals. But I have to say, you have more control with the Baggs, you know, to make adjustments, those fine adjustments that you like to make. And you can hear what happens when it's out. And you don't want that kind of sound to be coming across in a live situation. So you really have to trust that it's going to get dialed out at the soundboard, but it's nice if you can give a good signal to start with. And so that's what I work to do in terms of setting something up that's simple. It's not a lot of bells and whistles. Clean, adds a little reverb, maybe a little compression, because I still think that body res has a little bit to do with compression and some adjustments to EQ. And I think, and then to have a tuner, I don't need a whole lot more than that. I think it sounds pretty good because most of the time I'm just doing rhythm, and with the acoustic, and it's really hard to amplify acoustic sound. So I like a very clean sound. I don't like, you know, a lot of distortion. And so I do look to put something on my pedal board that gives me a little bit of compression. And in this case, that body res is kind of doing a little bit of that, along with making some adjustments to the EQ. But is it necessary? Probably not, because you can make so many changes on that Baggs. That type of pedal has been around for a long time. And it's very well liked. It generally shows up on the top of the list in terms of best pedals for acoustic or best DIs. Like I said, my main complaint about it is that you can't plug it in, that I have to deal with this whole battery issue. But I think that's minor. I mean, I just have to be mindful of it, that when I get through, to make sure I unplug the source going into the pedal, and that's real simple. You just pull the line, and it's going to be mounted to a pedal board, so it's not that difficult to slide it in and out. And then also the fact that I have to, you know, change the battery every 20 hours. I think it's 20 hours. I'll go back and look. If I'm not correct about that, I'll make a little note on this. But so yeah, so there we go. For a couple $100, you can carve your tone out, and I think it sounds pretty cool. I think a good thing about it, though, is if you're just using that pedal and you're not bringing in a tuner and you're not putting the body res or any of that, just using, just using the DI itself, that's really good, because that would fit in your gig bag, and you just make sure your batteries are kept up. You're always going to unplug it because you got to put it back in your gig bag. In my case, I like to mount it to a pedal board, so that's why I run into that problem with the battery. But you wouldn't be running into that problem. In fact, it would be to me, it's pretty convenient, because you can just throw it in your gig bag and pull it out and plug it in, and you can control your sound. So it really has a great place for traveling musician, I think. And I think it does a great job. As you could hear, it was very responsive. All right. So we're going to leave it right there. And I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in this world.